The legacy of Black Horseman is a vital part of the rich tapestry of horse racing in the United States, one that deserves to be recognized and celebrated. Efforts have been made in recent years to acknowledge this history, but much work remains to be done to ensure that the contributions of Black jockeys are remembered and valued within the sport's social and economic history. Black jockeys and horsemen played a vital role in the horse racing industry during the 19th and early 20th centuries, which is sometimes overlooked because the emergence of thoroughbred racing in the United States coincided with the institution of slavery. The maintenance of horses is a labor intensive enterprise that requires around the clock care. American plantations and horse farms had plenty of free slave labor, which gave them a considerable advantage in the development of thoroughbred racing over other nations that did not rely on slave labor. According to Harper's Bazaar, in Texas alone, there were nearly 200,000 slaves in 1860, many of whom tended to horses for various owners. Many generations of enslaved individuals learned important skills of riding, grooming, training, and exercise riding. They became hostlers, veterinarians, stud masters, and even race bettors. They played a vital role in the jockey community, supported the horse racing business, and were some of the most well-known and successful riders of their day.
9 years before Black women were cooking and managing the food tents at the first Kentucky Derby in 1875, Melinda Russell published the first cookbook in 1866, the first by an African American. Her story is one of struggle, tragedies, perseverance, and triumph. Melinda Russell was born in Tennessee in 1812, but little is known about her life other than her mother was among the first emancipated slaves. She received a high education, which was unique for a Black person at the time. When she was 19 years old, she traveled to Virginia with a certificate vouching for her character, issued by a Dr. Moore. She intending to travel from Virginia to Liberia in West Africa. When she arrived in Virginia, she was broke after being robbed of all her money by a fellow traveler. She was fortunately hired by a family in Lynchburg to work as a nurse and travel companion. She met a freed slave woman named Fanny Stewart, who taught her how to cook from Mary Randolph's recipe book, The Virginia Housewife. Grandson of renowned explorer William Clark, of the Lewis and Clark expedition, Meriwether Lewis Clark Jr., founded the Kentucky Derby in 1875. In his earlier European trip in the 1870s, Clark was very impressed by the Epsom Derby in England and the Grand Prix de Paris in France, both of which served as an inspiration for the Kentucky Derby, including the mile-and-a-half distance, the ladies' hat tradition, and men's flamboyant dress. When Clark returned to Louisville, Kentucky, he worked with the Louisville Jockey Club and local breeders to start the most significant horse race in the United States, in honor of his relatives John and Henry Churchill, who gave the land for the race course. The creation of the race coincided with the rise in American interest in sports and gambling. 15 three-year-old thoroughbreds ran 1.5 miles in the first Kentucky Derby on May 17, 1875, later shortened to a mile and a quarter in 1896. The colt named Aristides was the victor. He was ridden by Oliver Lewis and trained by Ansel Williamson. Both of them were former slaves.